All right, guys. Are these players going to be Hall of Famers in the future? I got some obvious ones. I got some not so obvious ones. Travis Kelce, let's see. He has 12,000 yards. He has 1,000 receptions. He has 77 touchdowns. 10-time Pro Bowler. 4-time All-Pro. 3-time Super Bowl champion. He's been playing since 2013.
No way you're saying no right now. This is so obvious, yes.
That's just Taylor Swift hate right there.
Yeah, he
That's
just
Taylor
hates
Swift hate.
The hate is crazy.
Listen. Hall of Fame is special, bro. If Travis Kelce gets in, we better get Bob Burger to be in the Hall of Fame as well. Because there's no way the guy that married Travis Kelce, married Taylor Swift, he dances out of concerts. Dude, a football player that I've seen booty shake on a stage should not be in the Hall of Fame. That is not on the resume. This is probably one of the worst tight ends I've ever witnessed on live TV. I'm a youngster, right? But ever since I've grown up, dude, all he does, 2-yard catches, block. He doesn't do anything. Now, you want to know a real Hall of Famer? Gronk. No, ever compare the two.
Okay.
No, I agree, but dude, Travis Kelce is an obvious top 3 tight end of all time. It's the very least,
He's not even better than Tony G.
Very least top 5. The very least top 5.
He's not even the best Chiefs tight end of all time.
Really?
Yeah,
that's arguable. Tony G was good. Tony G was good.
Like, come on. The top 3 is crazy now.
All right.
Yeah, I have to give it to him, though, because if you look at the stats and stuff, he's right up there with all the receivers. There's like no other tight end when you look at the leaders right now, and it's like he's right there. And it's like, I didn't know that till I took a look at it not too long ago.
Mahomes has nobody else to throw to.
And I'm like, wow.
Right.
I mean, that is pretty incredible. And I'm not a huge fan of Travis Kelce, but I mean, I think he obviously is sort of a step up because he's up there like a wide receiver statistically, you know.
John Smith has a better chance of getting Hall of Fame than Travis Kelce.
Really?
Get bro muted. Bro just needs to be muted for next slide. He needs to be punished.
We'll have to get back on these predictions. You know, we'll have a flashback on a later
Shane, you don't agree with
podcast.
that one? You don't agree with your little old Dolphins guy? Travis?
I mean, obviously the Dolphins are always better than everyone
That's
else.
what I'm saying. See? We all agree.
He's not the Dolphins guy anymore.
Yeah, but he's still a Dolphins guy. You can't. Oh, so Drell, you don't like Aaron Rodgers anymore?
You glazed Aaron Rodgers.
I still think he's
exactly. You can't like people on your team.
Right, but there's difference. You only hate this man because of Taylor Swift. You're talking about shaking the booty. Obviously, you've never heard of the freaking.
I hate this man because he fought a ref. He fought a ref on live TV because it didn't go his way. Oh, the ref! I paid him and he didn't cheat for me. Let me chokeslam a ref on live TV. Boo hoo! And I'm gonna cry when I get kicked off the stadium because I just Shawn Michaels sweet chin music him across the field. Of course you're gonna get banned, buddy. And he's crying. This is him in the interview. I don't know why I got banned. All I did was punch the ref in the face. Haha, Taylor Swift, come kiss me. Like, we don't care, bro. On to the next.
I will say he has sold like 4 or 5 parlays of mine, so he's not really up there with me. I'm sorry. All
Kevin,
right.
you probably should have started this with the last slide. You know?
Yeah.
He probably thought it was obvious. He probably thought this
Some
was so
obvious
obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking.
All right, next one. You did say this already. I started with some obvious ones. Gronkowski. All time from 2010 to 2021, 9,000 yards, 600 receptions, 92 touchdowns, 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, and 4-time Super Bowl champion.
That's a real tight end right there.
Yeah.
There's a real tight end.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what's crazy? This guy has CTE and he's still better than Travis Kelce. Think about that.
Travis Kelce might have it.
To me, Rob Gronkowski is like the Shaquille O'Neal for football. You know what I mean? He is just so dominant as a tight end. Dude, he catches the ball over anyone when he's running. He's so hard to tackle. Rob Gronkowski is just too dominant, man. He's too dominant.
Yeah. All right.
My question is, hold on, before we move on, my question is, and I'm going to bring up his name, is if Aaron Hernandez wouldn't have gone and done what he did, would Gronk have even been as good as he is? Or would Aaron Hernandez have been the better tight end? Because I think, as a what if, I think Aaron Hernandez would have been a better tight end than Rob.
You know what?
Gronkowski.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
That's a spicy one.
That boy was nasty at Florida.
Yeah.
I won't necessarily say he would probably have been better, but I definitely think he would have affected Gronk's legacy for sure. I think he would have, because I do agree because it was what Aaron Hernandez was first, and then Gronk came in later, and then they ended up being a 1-2 punch. Was it for like a season or two? How long was it? It wasn't that long, right?
No, I think it was
It was
just
only like a season or two.
Yeah.
So, and because I was watching actually some old games with Shane the other day, and I saw some games where Aaron Hernandez was balling, but then I had some games where Gronk was balling. So I definitely think they were like, they were basically 2 wide receivers on the team. But
So do you
I
think-
agree. I think his stats would be lower.
Do you think they would won like more Super Bowls with him? They would have won more or less?
Oh, I don't even know.
You don't know?
I don't know if a tight
It's
end
hard.
would have affected it that bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
we'll see.
Gronk might have ended up missing.
Exactly.
If he was too competitive, Aaron might have
Actually,
just got rid of him, so he may
honestly,
have just went missing.
With how it is nowadays, and you know how a lot of these players are chasing money, how they should. One of them probably would have left for the bag. They probably would have had to make the decision to pay one
that's
of them,
true.
and then they probably would have left to try to go somewhere else. So they probably would have. If Gronk was wanting the cheaper deal, Gronk might have stayed with the Patriots, and Aaron Hernandez might be on another team.
All right.
If he
Or
wasn't
vice
psychotic.
versa. You never know.
On to the next one. All right, let's see. Tyreek Hill, first Dolphin, all-time stats: 11
Well, you know what
yards,
I'm gonna say.
700 receptions, 82 touchdowns, 8-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, 1-time Super Bowl champion. It's a tough one, but I think yes.
Yes, that's tough.
Tough one though.
I think if he continues on pace, he will be a lock. If he goes down and let's say he gets hurt, doesn't play anymore, I don't know if he's done enough to beat out the other greats. You know what I mean? But I think if he stays what he on pace right now and does, I think he's going to get it.
Okay. Tough one though. 50-50.
That's my prediction.
I just want to say, and everyone get your cameras and popcorn out. This is a rare occurrence. I'm going to say something positive about the Chiefs. Here's the thing why I have no. Right now, like I said, I think in the future he can. But in my opinion, Tyreek Hill has only been dominant on the Chiefs. Is that him and Mahomes connection? That's what I'm saying. If you want to be a Hall of Famer, you have to be good of multiple quarterbacks and different team, or even if you never get traded. But like, it feels like he went to the Dolphins, right? It's kind of like Bill Belichick losing Brady. It kind of hurt his career, right? When Tom Brady was there, everyone's like, Bill Belichick, Hall of Famer coach. And now he left, everyone's like, is Bill Belichick overrated? You could say that of Tyreek Hill because what has he done really in the Dolphins? He had some few good games, but has he really carried the team to like a Super Bowl or even some playoff wins like they expected?
Oh yeah.
Well, you got
I
to think
don't
though. His best season was with Miami. He was almost going to break the record, and he didn't
But
do it.
what
But, I
happened
mean,
that season?
I feel like people forget, not last year, but the season beforehand, he was
was
the
dominant.
number one wide receiver.
He was the number one receiver,
pretty
and
up there.
he had way more yards than he did on the Chiefs. So I mean, that was one of the things. I mean, he hasn't been, he was with the Chiefs for a while there too, but I don't know. He had his best season. I mean, if any player has his best season on a team, you would probably consider that the team that really helped him the most.
I mean, if we're putting people in Hall of Fame for stats, every player that touched the field could go in. That's just how I see it. I feel like you have to have more than stats. There has to be a few more accomplishments to go in the Hall of Fame. That's why you're in the Hall of Fame.
Do you blame the quarterback here, or do you blame him?
I blame the team. I don't think they have a good coaching offensive coach since he's been over there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, especially last year.
But don't you think if he had stayed on the Chiefs, they would hold that against him, saying, well, he was, Mahomes are throwing to him. If he keeps on pace and he continues to blow it away on a team that they don't consider to have a quarterback as good, would that help him get in the Hall of Fame? Because there's,
sure. That's what I'm saying. I think he has the chance. That's why I was hesitant. I was going back and forth. That's why I said I think he needs more time, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm saying no. But like I said, I'm right there. I'm right there on the yes. But just from me, this is just a personal opinion. I have not seen, like I said, I know he had a really good season on the Dolphins, but like he just doesn't feel like the same Tyreek Hill from the Chiefs time. And you can say that honestly, Tyreek Hill is the reason they won some Super Bowl over there. That's like he, like I said, even if he had his greatest season in the Dolphins, it's kind of crazy. If I might be mistaken on this, but I don't think Dolphins won a playoff game with them right yet. Like they've been to one, which was against the
No.
Chiefs.
They
I
haven't.
believe.
I don't think they've even made.
That's
playoffs.
what I'm saying. If
That's why
Tyreek Hill can't, I'm not saying the whole team revolves around God, but they signed that dude all this money because they thought they at least get him some playoff wins, and that hasn't happened yet. So is it him or the coaching staff? I don't know, but I need some more years to decide.
All right. So theoretically, do you think Travis and Gronk would be worse on another team like the Dolphins? Like what Tyreek Hill? Do you think that'll?
Oh, yeah.
would
Gronk was
affect-
already good on the
Oh.
Bucks. Gronk, you
Yeah,
can't.
but you can't like it's the same.
Yeah, but that's the
quarterback,
same quarterback, bro.
though. Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
still Brady.
like if it was
okay.
like Baker Mayfield, like do
Bro,
you think
forgot
he'd
he has
still
the
be
GOAT.
if he wasn't dominant then? Do you think he'd still be like legible for the Hall of Fame?
So you're trying to say like if he kept Mahomes?
No.
I think he's trying to put your words back on you because you said that Tyreek, when he was on the Chiefs, was only good because Patrick Mahomes. But you're saying the previous two tight ends, Travis Kelce, is not good, even though he had Patrick Mahomes. But yet Gronkowski is good because he had Tom Brady. So he's saying you could say the same argument for those two players as you're doing Tyreek Hill because you're saying, oh, he's
But
good with
Tyreek
this.
Hill has a
But
different
he went to
quarterback.
right. So he's saying if those two went to a different team with a different quarterback, because you can't count Gronk going to Tampa because he followed Brady and still same QB.
I disagree.
If
Same,
they had
different coaching
different-
staff, different team. Yes, same quarterback. There's still some differences there, though. That's like a whole nother
But you
debate.
said
I can do the Travis Tyreek Hill debate, but the Gronk one, you can't. I feel like you can't really throw in there because he's not in the same category as Travis. In my
Well,
opinion,
let me-
even that's what I think.
Yeah, but let me put it another way. Like, if you know a lot of players like this, and one of the most common ones people talk about is if you put Barry Sanders on a New England Patriots team or somebody like that, what would that guy have done? And we look at him being a great because of the years he played. He was on a crappy team, and he still put the numbers out. So I think sometimes you can't really hold it against somebody, but you can also look if somebody really achieves a lot. Like you put any good, great receiver on these Mahomes team, would he be in the same conversation or not? You know, that's the argument you could have too. And so I think right now Hill has a better chance of getting in the Hall of Fame if he continues on a team that most people think is, well, he's not a Mahomes. If he was on a Mahomes team, I think that could be an argument. Everybody gets the yards because Mahomes is the best.
I think it's better to look at it how it affected the quarterback. Like the same question, but a little bit switched around. Because if you look at Mahomes, yes, he does have Travis Kelce, but when Mahomes came into the league, what he was so best known for was his arm. Like he could throw the deep ball. And why do you think that was? He had Tyreek Hill as his wide receiver. These last couple of years, that has went down so badly where his deep arm is just not there. And that's why I'm so big on Xavier Worthy. So because I think he can actually revive that for Mahomes. But Tyreek Hill is just fast. He's so good. Even with Tua, sometimes all he has to do is just throw it as hard as he can down the field and hope Tyreek Hill will be there. You know. So I think in any quarterback that goes can play with Tyreek Hill as long as they are able to as long as the coach is going to be able to focus on Tyreek Hill to get them the ball. They need to get him open. The first year, not last year, but the year before that when Coach McDaniel came in, he did a really good job at that, getting Tyreek Hill getting the ball. Last year, he did so horribly at that. So I agree with Bailey. I think that Tyreek Hill had a bad year because of the coaching. And
you got to also remember Tua was hurt for a long time too.
Yeah.
So
that's a big factor.
That's why I don't Superman dive. That's on him.
You know, and you can't blame Hill for that because, like Bailey said, he didn't like the backups for Miami that came in. So, you know, if Tua was healthy, in 2023, he had the most dominant season he's had. And even whatever you say about Tua, if he's there all year, I think Hill's going to benefit. If he's hurt, I don't think he will benefit. And that's probably what Hill's worrying about. I think you guys are right. His chances of getting in the Hall of Fame is really going to depend if Tua can stay healthy, because he will get the ball if he's healthy.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want people to think I'm hating on him. That's what I'm saying. I need a few more years to decide. At the moment, I'm saying no.
Agree.
Too early.
I'm not. I don't want you guys to think I'm like saying he's trash or anything. I love Tyreek Hill. I glaze him. But I'm just saying at the moment I need to see something. And I will say, I would sit down, me, Shane, and Zach would watch games together and be like, why aren't they throwing to Tyreek Hill? Last year was one of the worst Dolphins coaching thing I ever seen in my life. I don't know what happened. The drop off was crazy. He's wide open and there's like, nah, you're not getting the ball. He would get 2 catches a game sometimes. And we're like, why are you not using this guy? But I don't know. I just think he needs a few more years before a Hall of Fame talk happens.
I think he also needs to be very careful because I mean, let's look at Antonio Brown for example. That is a Hall of Fame player. The only reason he is not going into the Hall of Fame is because of out of football decision. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Tyreek Hill this last year has been a little crazy, I should say. I mean, with all the postings saying he wants to be on a new team. There was even the one thing where he wants to do when his like after the football becoming a streamer and becoming an actor. You could say. Yeah. So I mean that's wild. Those are wild statements.
Yeah, he's
that's
crazy.
like Antonio Brown type of level. You know what I mean? So I think Tyreek Hill needs to be a little careful because he's on the fine line here. If he does too much of that kind of crap, I think they will end up saying, "Sorry, buddy, no Hall of Fame career because of it."
Yeah, I think, one way you can look at this when we look at the next slides too is it's almost like Drell when he did the buy, sell, and hold type segments. Is this person, if he retires right now, would he get selected? Or does he need more time, or we never think he's going to get? I think Hill definitely has a chance, but he needs more time.
Okay.
Right.
And, that's my thought on him.
1 or 2 more good years.
Yeah. Some of the other guys, like, I say they could retire right now and get into it,
Yeah.
We'll go off to the next one then. This is for Jarrell. Jordan Love. All-time stats, 2021, 2024. 8,000 passing yards, 63% completion,
That's so crazy.
356 rushing yards.
He's only been in the league 3 years, so.
But he has no accolades though. He's still young though. He is still young.
I know you give Jarrell a hard time on him, but I think Jordan Love is so young right now. I mean, he hasn't proven it yet, but he has plenty of time. And one of the things I talk to Jarrell about this all the time, and you guys can agree. I don't know why Green Bay does not invest in better receivers.
Ridiculous.
For any of the quarterbacks. I mean, they needed that for Aaron Rodgers before he left, and they just do not do that. They don't draft him early. They don't buy him and get him in free agency. I mean, the poor quarterbacks. I don't know. Green Bay they just don't want to spend the money. So, but I think Jordan does have the capability, but he's way far away from even consideration because he's only been there 3 years.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm with you. I think I'm holding off. I think we need a couple more years, maybe 2 more years to finally see if.
No, we might need like 20 years to decide if this dude's good. I don't know. A few more years ain't gonna get it done. Good God.
You're being too hard on the man, dude. Like if you compare him to I even pulled it up so I could actually give you the correct figures here. If you compare him to Brett Favre, who, regardless of what you say, was a great quarterback, is a great quarterback. He'll probably be a Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers, even though he went through some crazy stuff towards the end of his career, he'll probably be a Hall of Famer. Okay, so Favre, his first season, he went 8-5. Rodgers' first season went 6-10. Love, his first season, he was 9-8. For passing yards, Favre, just over 3,000. Rodgers, just over 4,000. Love, just under 4,200. So right there, he's beat both of them in stats. For touchdown to interception ratio, Favre had 18-13, Rodgers 28-13, and Love 32-11. So right there, he's already beat 2 great.
So you're
quarterbacks
comparing
in
Jordan
stats.
Love to Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre right now.
I think it's fair. I think it's fair. It's way too early.
It's just early.
Podcast is tripping.
It's early.
I think this is an unfair segment, in my opinion, for Jordan Love. He hasn't been in there long enough, and they really have not gave him the weapons.
Yeah, he's.
Dude, I really hope you put Baker Mayfield in this.
All right, Jarrell. Let me ask you this. No, and be honest. As a Packers fan, no trolling, whatever. Do you honestly think Jordan Love will ever win you guys a Super Bowl? Be honest.
If we get him, the right crew around us, yes, I think it can happen. I think we're going to win our division this year. Just wait.
Wow.
You're going to break your stuff.
Jesus.
You just kicked Jarrell.
Bro, it is not that deep. It is not that deep.
He just kicked Jarrell, bro. What are you doing? You just kicked Jarrell.
Wild.
I just hurt my arm.
Yeah, that's a way overreaction there.
Yeah, very overreaction.
Did I just hear 10 things fall? I didn't know it was going to go that bad. Oh,
Right, go to the next slide. Let's go.
Next slide.
Yeah, on to the next.
All right. Chris Godwin. I didn't want to put Mike Evans because he's obvious, but Chris Godwin, let's see. All-time stats, 17 from 224, 7,000 yards, 500 receptions, 39 touchdowns, one-time Pro Bowler, one-time Super Bowl champion. Really? Oh, wow. All right.
His injuries, man. His injuries screwed that for him. I'm sorry. He's a good wide receiver, but he's always banged up. He's not playing full seasons. It messed it up for him.
All right. How about
Yeah,
you
'cause
guys?
The only thing I have to add is that he's also overshadowed by Mike Evans.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Yeah.
And Mike Evans might play forever. He keeps going and going and going. No, I love Chris Godwin. I think he's a great receiver. But he just his injuries, like you said, is I don't know. He's one of those guys I'd put in the category he needs more time. But I don't think, like with Hill and stuff, when we talk about him, I think he stays healthy more often. And I don't know if Chris will, even if he plays for another 5, 6, 8 years, I don't know if he's going to play enough to get the stats to really make it above the other ones,
So if he changes to, let's say he goes to the Packers, do you think he'll do better and he'll be a better player?
Yep, I think the only way he goes in Hall of Fame is another team. Like Jarrell said, there's just right now. I feel like there's no chance any other receiver can get Hall of Fame on the Bucs right now until Mike Evans retires. Because it's just he's so dominant. It's just like, and I love Chris Godwin. He's my favorite number 2 of all time. But like, and last year he was actually on pace to have a better season than Mike Evans if he didn't get injured.
Yeah.
So he's really good. But again, like Jarrell said, he's just outshadowed. Like, in my opinion, I don't know, maybe this is hot take, but I think he could easily be a wide receiver number 1 in multiple places. But he just,
definitely.
Right.
He's just stay healthy.
And let's go to the next one. All right, the next one's kind of obvious. Should have put it up there, but Tom Brady. So we should have put in the first one, but
that's the go right there.
22
Bailey,
years.
switch it around. Stop.
89,000 passing yards.
Stop clip farming here.
64 completion.
Here's the thing, though. Was it Bill Belichick? Let's think about this. Was it Bill Belichick that carried him?
No.
Nah, I'm counting. That's the goat. Hold up. Oh, that's the goat. Of course. What do y'all think?
I feel like this is undisputed. Like I'm sorry, Dad. Shane, I know you were a Dolphins fan.
I don't. If he didn't make it, I don't think anybody needs to make it. It's like that. If anybody was going to have it, there's no way you could say Tom Brady's not a Hall of Famer.
You know what's crazy? You know what solidified it too? It's like, all right. I mean, 6 rings is crazy, but before the 7th ring, this man went to a new team, new coaching staff, an area where he's not used to the weather. And first year, he was just like, light work, Super Bowl ring.
That
was like the GOAT.
A lot of people did follow him that year.
I mean, a few. Let's calm down. A lot is crazy.
But no, I agree. I mean, I think I see what you mean. Like, like if you want to put it in that Hall of Fame aspect, if you're saying, hey, he needs to go to a new team and do it, first year he did it. He went to a new team and he won it first year. So, I mean,
I'm sorry, but someone's mic is going crazy right now. I can't hear it.
It's Jarrell's. Shane, how many years did this man torture you as a Dolphins fan?
Oh, he many, many years. I mean, obviously, when he played on the Patriots, I hated him, because he. But the funny thing is, when you look at statistically over the years, the Dolphins had a lot of success against Tom Brady, especially back in the years when we had Jason Taylor, some of the big players. They used to really get on there, and we used to frustrate Tom. And the problem is, I don't remember us ever beating him twice a year. We may squeak out a game, out of the 2 that we play one time, but most of the time he would beat us. But when we did get a victory, it felt like a Super Bowl. We could have won 5 games that year, and if we beat Tom Brady one game, we were like, yes, we are the best, because he was so good. But when we would get in there and frustrate him, and that was the way to beat him. And but he was just amazing in what he could do. And just watching him, I saw him every year, twice a year. And if we got in the playoffs, half the time we would play him too, and they would knock us out or something. He was just so good and so fun to watch. But I think I enjoyed him much more when he went to Tampa because he wasn't a direct competition. And I really and when I
Tampa
got
Brady
to
was a
watch
different
him,
breed, bro.
yeah,
Something changed,
that
bro.
was fun.
He
I just
also
wanna
did
say-
go from AFC to
Antonio
NFC
Brown.
there too. So that's like a whole nother side of
That's-
teams he had to go
Yeah.
versus in the playoffs. If you look at it that
Is
way,
he the
too.
only quarterback to do
Mhm.
that, right? To win a Super Bowl in both things?
Is he?
I mean, I might be
think-
wrong. I would have to
I
look
think
that up.
the
but...
only other guy was Peyton Manning. I think.
No, because that's Colts
no.
and Denver.
Yeah,
that's
the
both
same
AFC.
thing.
Oh yeah, 2 different leagues. I mean, not too many quarterbacks have went to another team and won.
Right. Yeah.
And I think
one of
that
those, yeah.
he's one of those few that did that, and that was part of it. Look at his accolades, and then winning on 2 different teams, and it just amazing. And just for the other thing is how long he played, and you never heard about him
22
getting
years.
in trouble,
No.
staying healthy. He was healthy most of the time. He focused on his health. He focused on taking care of his life and businesses and investments. Nowadays, so many players get in trouble every second. Or like we were talking about Tyreek Hill getting on social media and making. He never did that kind of stuff. I think the biggest issue when they had the Deflate Gate, that was his biggest problem. With the balls being
some of the cheating
deflated.
scams. Yeah.
Some of the cheating stuff that was going on, but not that he was directly, responsible for that, but that was only tarnish on him, I think. But yeah, just amazing.
It's kind of crazy you say that because screw the stats or whatever. I don't think we'll ever have a quarterback that is, like you said, for 22 years, never gets injured, never had a bad year, was just always like Tom Brady. You said this earlier, Shane, but it's kind of crazy. Like, he's the GOAT when like you beat him just in a regular season game. It was on the news and everyone's like, "Whoa, you're dumping the Gatorade on the coach." Yeah, we have one win this season, but it's Brady. We got him. Like, come on.
I think the only one that's even close to it would be obviously Mahomes, but we're already seeing a decline, and he's not even halfway through what Brady's career is. He's already declining.
All right, if he had 22 years like Brady, do you think he'll be like closer?
But no one will ever have 22 years like Brady. You can't be like, what if?
Not if
no one can play like that good for 22 years straight.
Not if he
think about
played
it,
like last
2
year.
decades, over 2 decades of span.
This man's played before I was born. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Kevin had a baby and got divorced, and he's still playing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Mahomes will last that long, to be honest.
Next slide, Jarrell's going to like this one, but no. He's cooking. Baker Mayfield, all-time stats, 2018 to 2024. 24,000 passing yards, 63.
I want the non-Bucks fans to
completion,
answer first. Let's see what they say.
1,000 rushing yards, 171 touchdowns, 2-time Pro Bowler, and 2018 Rookie of the Year.
So biased. If we're speaking right now, he is definitely not in the Hall of Fame, guys. I'm sorry. He's not. He's not. He doesn't have the
He would need more time.
At this
He
point,
would have to play
we're
a lot
letting
of
anyone
years.
in this. Yeah, we're letting basically any good quarterback in the Hall of Fame, I guess. Anyone's making the Hall of Fame at this point. If we're doing Baker
why?
Mayfield.
There's one play. No, there's a few plays, right? Why he's in the Hall of Fame. No quarterback was able to truck over Bobby Wagner. No quarterback was able to stiff arm, who was it, Nick Bosa, and throw it for a first down. He makes the best plays I've ever seen in my life. Let's go, Baker be Bacon.
Okay.
He only watched football last year, I guess.
I think this is one of those what if situations again. If you look at him currently, he's not on he hasn't done enough,
Right.
and he doesn't look like he's close to that yet. It's maybe not his. I think he has a chance because Cleveland messed him up. His statistics, his record, his playing, all this stuff in Cleveland affects people, and it's still in people's memory. And of course, he went to another team with the Rams and into the Bucks, and now he's sort of been a comeback player. And I will say this: if he can turn it around, start winning Super Bowls with the Bucks, and statistically doing what he was doing last year, then he would be on pace again if he stayed healthy. I could see him do that because people would give it to him saying, wow, he turned it around, went from a really bad situation, matured, and became a winner. But if he doesn't do that winning, then I think he'd be one of those good quarterbacks that just don't get in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
I agree. To put the clip farming aside, now obviously at the moment he shouldn't go to the Hall of Fame. Obviously, just being biased. But I on seriousness, I do think he has a chance. Like Shane said, I do think I mean, you can even ask Zach because we grew up watching football together. This is my most hated quarterback, dude. I was always roasting. Even when he was signed, I had a meltdown. I was like, "Good God, we're never doing anything ever
For
again."
months.
And I've never shut up more in my life because you know what? Respect to him. He made a crazy comeback on the Bucks. I think if he keeps it up. And you know, I'm not. I think there's a good chance he doesn't make Hall of Fame, but he still has a chance. It's gonna be hard. Like he has to keep making playoffs, and maybe even like a Super Bowl ring to slide in there and have good stats. But he's gonna have to play good for the rest of his career to squeeze in. But yeah, Cleveland really did screw up his Hall of Fame chances there.
Yeah, and he obviously looks good. I mean, even Shiloh Sanders, I saw an interview about him the other day, and he was saying, "Dude, he is never going to throw me an interception. Like the Baker is just just that good."
Yeah, I've seen
Obviously,
that.
I agree. We were when he first came to the Bucks. I think we were all hating a little bit much. If you looked at his previous years, he just he showed promise, but at the same time, he showed a lot of negative. So now, I mean, if you look at him, I think he has potential. How about this? He goes out and he wins you guys the Super Bowl. We'll come back to this discussion.
All right.
Yeah, I think
But
that would be a big
you gotta
thing.
also look at it this way. This man does not take any damage. I've seen this guy head bump 3 guys and just
That's what I'm
go
saying. The
to
Bobby
another
Wagner
play.
truck or stiff arming Boza while throwing a first down.
man is
Who else does
He is-
that?
He's fun to watch. He's just not Hall of Fame worthy.
Get your weight
If
up,
that-
boy. Get your weight up.
If that happened to Jalen Hurts, that man would be in the hospital for 3 years. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think that's more Tua than Jalen Hurts. Let's be
I was
honest.
gonna
Well,
say
Tua.
let's not. No,
Well,
not
let's
the
see
most
here.
quarterback.
Tua's my next one. All-time stats, 2020.
What a transition.
15,000 passing yards, 68. Very high completion rate, actually.
No, just kidding.
430 rushing
Not
yards,
right now.
100 touchdowns, 1-time Pro Bowler. I don't think so either, but he has his stats are pretty good for
to be-
being.
To be fair, any of these guys that haven't been in the league that long, I think it's really hard to say because, like Drell brought up, statistically, if their numbers compared to some of the greats, like Tua just threw for 5,000 some yards. So, but the problem with Tua is his health issues and missing time. I mean, odds are against him playing a long career, and I think a lot of Hall of Famers play long careers, and so I think he statistically could do a lot if he amazingly they put him on some kind of special helmet, and it keeps him protected for another 10 years. He could potentially do that, but until the team starts winning and he starts winning playoff games and he stays healthy, I just don't think he has a chance to be in the Hall of Fame.
But when you look at it, his stats are pretty good for 4 years. Like look at Jordan Love. He only had 3 years, 2021. I mean, we could let's see this again.
That's so unnecessary.
His stats for being injured almost the whole season last year are pretty good.
I think most people, they give Tua a hard time, but if you look at his statistics, when he's played, the games played, he's done really well. I think his biggest ding is him doing what he needs to do in the big games, to win when he needs to win, to stay healthy, to win a playoff game. These are the kind of things he has to get. Brady did that. He won in the snow. He won in the playoffs. He came back to win when they were way down. These are the kind of things that made him a Hall of Famer. Tua will have to start doing those things. Yeah. Same as Jordan Love. He has to show us that he can bring back the Packers. Mm-hmm. He can bring back the Dolphins. And until those two guys do that, they will always just be known as somebody that had good stats. But in my opinion.
And again, to defend him like how I defended Tyreek Hill, I don't know what happens to the coaching staff over there at the Dolphins. Yeah, whoever is running the offense, Mike McDaniel, I don't know if the offensive coordinator, they're working together. Last year was so bad. I mean, I said in the Tyreek Hill thing, we're not even throwing the number one weapon. So now, and he got injured. And the big three about Tua, you know what? He's injury prone, right? Never won a playoff game, and he's left-handed. Sorry, the Madden player in me got in. But, yeah, I don't know. He just needs to show more. Too early.
More time.
For sure.
Next one, Saquon Barkley. We all knew it.
Oh.
All-time stats, 2018 to 2024, 7,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, 48 touchdowns, 3-time Pro Bowler, one-time All-Star, one-time Super Bowl champion. I think this is the early one, but it's kind of obvious one from what we've seen right now.
Listen, as the Eagles fan, I'll go first here. Let me just claim him here. I strongly think that Saquon Barkley was last year's MVP. If we look at the Eagles the year beforehand, we were missing a piece. He came over to the Eagles, and he was literally the guy that we needed to push us into the Super Bowl. The Eagles had one of the most dominant Super Bowl runs in a long time, maybe top 5, just with looking at the stats, and I think he is such a strong reason why, and I don't think anyone here would disagree with that. I think Saquon Barkley, there's games that I feel he is putting the offense on his back. If he's not a Hall of Famer right now, he for sure will be a Hall of Famer as long as he's healthy.
All right.
I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to talk good about the Eagles. Listen, we actually did a Mount Rushmore video with me, Kevin, Shannon, Jarrell, and me and Kevin, I believe it was us who both had him in our Mount Rushmore. So I love this guy. Listen, I think this is going to be crazy. I think this is about to be a weird sentence, but he is the best injury-prone running back I've probably watched in my life. Like live, because this dude gets hurt so much, but look at his stats. I don't know what is going on. And last year, one of the best running back years, again, I've watched live. I watched, witness. He had the famous snow game against the Rams. Who plays like that in the snow? I don't know. That guy took some weird gummies pregame.
Yeah.
Backwards hurdle. He's on the cover of Madden. MVP, Super Bowl. He's Hall of Famer, bro. And he did all this. He has all this stats while being injury prone multiple years.
Mm-hmm.
Easily Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Jarrell?
Jarrell. Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, I mean, right now, I think Barkley is definitely on pace for it, but I don't know if you guys know this statistic. I was looking this up on it because I was like, okay, how does he compare with that? Most of the Hall of Fame running backs that have made the Hall of Fame have had at least 10,000 plus yards. The only people that had like less than Barkley or those were back in the 70s, 60s time frame. So they pretty much say that the clip that you have to get is you need to get at least 10,000 yards, which he's at 72-16 right now.
He's close.
But what, like you said, if he stays healthy, that should be easily achievable. But just to give you a little perspective, some Hall of Famers, Emmitt Smith, he had over 18,000 yards. Walter Payton had over 16,000. Barry Sanders had over 15,000.
Bo Jackson, 23,000.
Yeah. So he has to stay healthy, in my opinion, have a few more seasons, at least probably 2, and keep the same stats. He should be in. He should be alive. But if he gets hurt third game this season and he's out for his career or something, he may not make the Hall of Fame that easily. And that's just because they really look at that 10,000 yards. And it's also the touchdowns and everything else.
So if you're saying that, though, you're saying your answer is technically no, because we're saying if he retired right now, we're all saying he's Hall of Fame. So you're saying if he got injured next year, he might not make it. So your answer is technically no.
I'm looking at, there's a few things that the average Hall of Fame running back had over almost 11,000 yards. The average had at least 86 rushing touchdowns. He's at 48 right now. They had at least 6 Pro Bowl selections. He's at 3. They got at least 1 championship. He got that. So he's right there. He's on pace for some of this. But a lot of us don't realize he's been so good. But he's only been playing for 6 years. Some of these Hall of Famers have been playing a lot longer. And I'm just saying is when the Hall of Fame, when they look at people, they pretty much say they want to see these kind of numbers to get you automatically in there. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think at this point, at this moment, he's a lock. But
I think starting on the Giants definitely hurt that. And I think I would strongly think, because obviously, like you said, the stats are a huge issue. But I think the reason his stats aren't up there is because he's injured, but that's because the Giants were running him the ball with a crappy O-line. I know the Eagles were, using Saquon so much during the season, but our line is so much better than the Giants have ever had in his career. So I think if Saquon Barkley would have started with even half of 2 times better than what the Giants had, half of what the Giants had, it's already.
Yeah, but that might help him, though, because you could be like, look, he was goated without a good O-line and a good team. That also
Right,
kinda
but him
helps his
having
case.
True.
him
But I
having
get
to
what you're
miss the
saying.
games,
Like, he
though.
could have had a lot better stats.
Yeah,
but I'm just
there was
saying,
more games on
you could look at it positive too. Like, but I see what you're saying.
I
mean,
think
if
we
he
should
gets-
also look at it instead of by year.
By how many games did he play compared to those other guys, and
He's
see
got
if
really
it's,
clear.
the same.
What the heck? Why didn't
Your
you talk
mic
like
just
this
became
the whole
so
time?
good.
It just
Yeah.
became really clear.
No, it's
No,
good. It's good. It
It's
sounds
good.
really good. Oh, you
Yo.
can't hear us. It sounds really good.
It's good.
You just got really clear.
I just want to say something though.
Oh.
I don't know if we're talking about his brother because that's not how you spell Saquon Barkley.
It's an O. Oh, Lord.
I think we're talking about a different player actually, guys. We gotta redo this.
It's the O. Oh, my God.
You'll have to edit that part.
I had to
We'll have
look it up on my
switch it
phone.
out.
I was like, I could have sworn it was an O. I was like, wait a second.
We'll have to edit that.
Dang it,
Nah,
man.
it'll
sorry.
be fine.
We
Maybe
we
he'll
lost
get his
Zach
comments.
again. Zach's
We
out
should-
again.
We'll have to see.
We'll wait for him.
We'll have to have the edit where the little, you know how they do the doodle. We'll have the crayon come down and put the right letter on it.
No, we'll leave it in. We'll see if anybody notices. We'll get the comments.
I was rushing to make this.
No, you're good. I just thought it was
Right.
funny.
All right, we'll just have to cut that
All
part
right, I'm
out.
back.
Oh.
Never mind.
Nope.
Oh, there you go.
Why is it not letting me?
It was a good thing. It made your mic 10 times better. It wasn't a bad thing.
Me?
Yeah. It was just weird because
Oh.
you're talking. It just sounded like your normal mic, and out of nowhere you became like, I don't know if you just installed a mic mid sentence. Just like
My
that
headphones
was weird.
died.
It
I wonder
finished
since
up,
I have
right?
2 Bluetooth connections, maybe it messes with my mic being a little bit lower sometimes.
So Shane, I don't know if you did Jarrell's cam. He looks a little like off. Like it's not like aligned with me and yours on the side.
Nah, we were trying to fix after you
Oh,
did
okay.
your breakdown. It messed
Oh,
up
that's
the.
right.
Are we done with his segment though?
I think I have 2 more.
Okay, we just didn't see anything. What is my laptop at? 'Cause I know I
Yeah,
need
the
to
slide
plug it in
thing
here.
disappeared.
Mine's at 9%. So let me try to. Oh, it's right here. All right, hold on. This is gonna take me 2 seconds.
We can
Did
cut
somebody-
it short though. We can
Did
cut it
somebody
right
delete
here
it?
if we want. I don't know.
Oh, this is
It
not
just
even
left.
Like, yeah, it's some now the screen disappeared.
Yeah, I don't see a slide on my
Yeah, I don't see
side.
nothing.
Let me see.
Jarrell, stop vaping, bro.
For what?
Wait.
That's weird. It shows it's on here.
So Jarrell, you gonna send me a shirt or?
Let me take it out.
I mean, honestly, you could just also say who the players are if we can't get it up because you're not going to use it anyways. You know what I mean? You're not really only using it.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. You got it.
Way too big. Way too big. There we go.
All right. Whatever y'all are ready.
All right, let's move on.
This is mostly for Jarrell, by the way. The next one.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
Oh man, poor Darrell.
It's a good one though. It's a good one.
I think I know who it is actually.
Next one, Josh
Oh
Jacobs.
no, I wasn't thinking this.
All-time
Oh, wow.
stats from 2019, 2024. 6,000 rushing yards, 1,000 receiving yards, 61 touchdowns, 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. He is a running back, though. Do you think he's going to be Hall of Fame?
Would that
Too
be
early.
the first Packers player in the Hall of Fame, or we gotta look that up?
I'm pretty sure is not Favre not a Hall of Fame player. Earlier, Darrell said that he's gonna be Hall of Fame. Is he not Hall of Fame already?
Josh Jacobs?
No,
I
Favre.
don't think Favre's. Yeah. You got to go check it. I'm pretty
Yeah, I
sure.
was about to say. I think so.
So they do have a Hall of Fame player then.
I know. I'm just trolling.
He's obviously trolling.
You guys were starting to convince me they didn't have one. For a second. I was like, wait a minute.
Wait,
I'll
aren't
let Jarrell answer. This is his team.
Aren't the Packers like the most winning team, like Super Bowl team or something?
I think that's Steelers
Steelers.
or Patriots. One of the two. Patriots might have beaten them out.
All right, Jarrell, what do you think, man?
I think he will. I think he'll have the potential to finish career off and get to the Hall of Fame. Obviously, same situation as Barkley. If he doesn't make the yards, then obviously probably not. But it still won't make him not a great running back for his career. So, but I think he has the potential to get there.
All right. Yeah. He has pretty good stats, like so far, right?
But you guys think it needs some achievements? He needs to, like, so what's the word I'm looking for?
Obviously, all these players
I
that don't
mean,
have a Super
'Cause-
Bowl.
I
need a
mean,
Super
yeah,
Bowl.
but you can say that, but not every Hall of Famer is a Super Bowl, right? Like, is there any, like, do you
Right.
want, like, an
But
MVP,
it just-
offense MVP, like, some more Pro Bowls, maybe? Or is it just the yards they're saying he needs? Like, if he just had these and just more yards, do you think he would make it with just more yards? Because he's only 3 Pro Bowler. Maybe, like, a few more Pro Bowls, maybe?
He needs
I'd
a
say a
lot.
couple more Pro Bowls. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, with the players in the league today and with the setup that he has, I don't think he's gonna get MVP. I mean, I think he's gonna have a great year this year. He had a great year last year. I think he has the potential to do even better. But time will tell.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be one of the good.
He also
running
did
backs.
good in 2 different teams, right? My favorite player on the Raiders when he was there, and now he's doing good on Packers. So 2 different teams, add that to the list. Or is that just the team carrying him?
Yeah, he was the number one
No,
running
I'd
back
say-
one of these years.
Yeah, I'd say
When
he
he was
came
on
to
the
Packers
Raiders.
and definitely gave us a lift. And yeah, he did good on the Raiders too.
Yeah, I think he needs to have probably 4 or 5 years of successful seasons, and I think he could if he stays on that pace. Because, like you said, I think it's the same thing. He's been in the league 6 years, right? 6 now, yeah, 6 seasons, and he's still technically down from the 10,000. He does have a lot of touchdowns. That's pretty good. So he has to stay at that high level. And, because, people like Barry Sanders played 10 years. That's 4 more years. He had over 15,000 yards. So that shows you what kind of Hall of Famers that they were looking at. Not saying that he still won't be. He has to, if he gets over that 10,000 yards, he already has 3 Pro Bowls. I mean, he definitely could do it. I just, again, I think it's too early to say. I think Barkley has a better chance at this moment than Josh does because they've both been in the league about the same time.
Yeah.
Yards is lower, but he is close, right behind him. So I don't know. It just depends if he stays healthy and he can because he's going to have to get like 1,000 yards per season, for 4 or 5 more to get up in that.
There's only 2 people I like on the Packers. It's him and that mac and cheese guy. So, hey, I love Josh Jacobs.
He's a good player. I like him.
No, not the
Like
mascot. The tight end. What's his name? Kraft and cheese and mac and
Kraft.
cheese.
Kraft mac and cheese. All right, I do have one more, but it's not showing here. But that's fine. I got it right here. It is Jalen Hurts, the next quarterback. All-time stats from 2020 to 2024: 14,000 passing yards, 64% completion, 3,000 rushing yards, 85 touchdowns, 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time Super Bowl champion, and 1-time MVP, Super Bowl MVP. And this is where I go. I think he's not. He's from what I've researched. I don't think he is, because here's the thing. I know you're Eagles fans. Here's the thing. Tua, he's played the same time. He has basically the same stat line when you think about it.
Rushing yards.
Yeah, he has more touchdowns. He has more passing yards. He has a better completion rate. I think the only.
I don't think rushing yards are close. I feel like Jalen
I think
Hurts
I think your
rushing-
stats
no,
might be a
rushing-
little off. Here's what I
sure?
think: if Jalen Hurts, I could see both sides of it, both
Oh, there we
arguments
go.
of saying,
Oh, there it is.
there it's up. I could see both arguments saying that, yeah, his rushing yards is way over him. By the way, 3,000 compared to 400.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just. Oh, my bad.
Anyways, I think Jalen Hurts is specifically because he's an Eagle. Like, he is going to be hands down the best Eagles quarterback of all time. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. That's the first Eagles quarterback to ever do that. He won one of them. He barely lost to Patrick Mahomes, who's considered this generation's GOAT. You know what I mean? In the Super Bowl, he has the stat of, if you ask me right now who has the most rushing yards in a game in the Super Bowl, at number 1, it's Jalen Hurts. Can you guys guess who's number 2?
Lamar Jackson.
Nope, also Jalen Hurts. No way, bro, said Lamar Jackson. So I just think I think Jalen Hurts will, because, he's going to be a huge impact on the Eagles' entire history. If you guys say he needs a little bit of time, I mean, he's young. Look, he's been in the year for 4 years. So I could understand if you say not yet. I think if he definitely wins one more Super Bowl, I mean, if he goes another one in general, that's 3 Super Bowls.
No, I'm sick of everyone saying it's too early. That's not the point of the game. You're supposed to predict if he is. You can't keep saying, "Oh, it's too early to tell." That's the point of the game, guys.
You're not hearing me. I said if you
No,
guys
not
want
you.
to
I'm
say
just saying
it's
in
too
general.
early, I kind of understand it. But in my mind, I think he's already done enough where we can call him a Hall of Fame player. That's just
All
it's
right.
just my opinion.
Compare him to Lamar Jackson, who has never been in a Super Bowl, who has better stats. Who like you can't really
Yeah.
base
I mean,
it on
Lamar's-
Super Bowls and because Lamar is a better quarterback. I'm sorry.
How many more years have Lamar been in since Jalen Hurts, though? I mean, I feel like that's not even a fair argument there if we're talking about longevity.
I think 2018, right?
Like Jalen Hurts hasn't even been as long, and even technically half of his first season he wasn't started. I don't think Lamar was either because I think Joe Flacco was in there. But
You know,
I don't know. I think Jalen Hurts. If we're talking stat wise, which Hall of Fame is like a stat thing, I think he has the better stats all around with the Super Bowl and all that fun stuff. Like if Lamar can't even get to the Super Bowl, I don't think he's going to solidify himself as a Hall of Fame player. Jalen Hurts has done it twice now.
But do you think? Never mind.
1 year without Saquon too. So if we can't even, understand you want to say, hey, maybe Saquon carried him. We've been to the Super Bowl without Saquon, and I know we lost, but we lost by 3 points.
And the Chiefs cheated. That was true.
And and if you want to say what you want, I mean, everyone, that pass interference call at the end was definitely a little bogus, but I mean, it was still called pass interference, so we got to live with it. But say what you want about it, Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls, and Jalen Hurts has
I want to
a
ask
lot
you
of
this
records.
though, because you said this was a few minutes back. You said that Jalen Hurts is the best Eagles quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over
Randall Cunningham?
He is. Yep.
Oh.
Randall Cunningham can't do what Jalen Hurts does. And maybe not overall with stats right now, but Jalen Hurts in the future for sure will be solidified as the best Eagles quarterback. I'm sorry. Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, none of them have done what Jalen Hurts does. Donovan McNabb was the only one that came close when he went to the Super Bowl against Tom Brady.
In the future or right now he is? Because I think he needs a little more to be over them. But you're saying right now you think he's the GOAT Eagles quarterback?
I do. I personally do.
Well, just put it on the GOAT. Personally, I would pick the other two over him. I would pick McNabb and Vic over him because to me, you're giving credit this season for a guy that handed the ball to Saquon all season. You already admitted earlier Saquon basically carried y'all all season, and boy was running over everybody. You didn't have to do anything. The only time homeboy took over was when y'all were on the 1 yard line and you pushed it in. How many touchdowns did y'all take away from Barkley this season to do that, to give him his stats? Dude didn't do anything this season.
To what I said earlier, I said that there was games that Barkley was the only one looking good on offense. I didn't say he carried us all season. I said he was the only one looking good on some of the games, okay? Jalen Hurts has done what Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Mike Vick has not done. If you combine all of them, none of them have even won a Super Bowl. Donovan McNabb has the only one that won a Super Bowl. So if you look at it, Hall of Fame stats, the Super Bowl is a big impact on Hall of Fame stats. I'm not even necessarily saying specifically by the player. If we're talking about the greatest of all time, Eagles fans, other fans are going to agree that Jalen Hurts is the best because of what he has done with the stats and the Super Bowls, and he owns his own records. It's not like he doesn't have any records. Where there's a lot of diss on Jalen Hurts, but he owns some crazy records in the NFL. So let's not forget about that.
Well, if we're saying he's the GOAT quarterback because the Super Bowl, and Nick Foles and him are 50-50 as Eagles' best quarterback of all time. I'm just saying because you keep bringing up the Super Bowl stat, and they're the only two there. So I don't know.
Right, and I agree, but he's been to twice as many as Nick Foles has, and Nick Foles didn't even play the entire season. That's true. Even in that first game against the Chiefs, Jalen Hurts was the one on the offense that was carrying us. Go back and look at Jalen Hurts stats in that first Super Bowl.
I think you guys should have won that Super Bowl.
Crazy game.
I like Jalen Hurts.
Give you guys a little perspective, though. I know this is a lot of talk about. I put Jalen Hurts in that situation with the any of the young quarterbacks. He's way too young to know if he's a Hall of Famer yet. Statistically, he's done really well with 4 years, and he's been a good quarterback, and he's done a lot. But just give you perspectives that average Hall of Fame quarterback has had at least 39,000 yards, 268 passing touchdowns, 7 Pro Bowl selections, 2 championships, and 13 seasons played at least. And they said one of the things that the Hall of Fame committee looks at for quarterbacks is longevity. So as long as Jalen Hurts stays healthy, produces, gets up to those kind of numbers, then I believe he will be in the Hall of Fame. And I think he has that possibility because he already has one Super Bowl, for example. But he's only been to the Pro Bowl twice so far. The average quarterback made it had 7 Pro Bowls. So if he continues on this pace, I think, but I don't think he's even close to being sane yet because he doesn't I don't think the Hall of Fame committee would even consider him. If he got hurt right now and that was the end of his career, he would just not been there long enough. And we would look at, but he is on pace for that kind of stuff. He just has to stay healthy.
Sticking to the segment, if we're saying Hall of Fame right now, again, like I said, I can understand saying he's not. But if we're going to go back to saying who is the best quarterback for the Eagles of all time, I feel like Jalen Hurts has already taken that number 1 spot just with what he has done with very little of time. So he's beat the GOAT of this generation. Donovan McNabb almost did it. He almost beat Tom Brady, which is the GOAT of that generation. He just couldn't do it. So
I'll say this. I don't think it's a crazy take, but I'm saying I think if he wins one more, it's no doubt. But if you have technically Carson Wentz and Nick Foles together brought them a Super Bowl, right? So together they all each brought the franchise 1 Super Bowl each, right? So they all have that record together. And the stat that Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick also did for Eagles. I feel like I just think you're going a little too crazy. This is not disrespect to Jalen Hurts. I just feel like you're just saying, oh, without a doubt. I feel like you gotta be a little more respectful to those guys. Like Jalen Hurts needs a little more. I just think they're kind of like together at the moment. Like Jalen Hurts is with Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick right now. But if he wins another Super Bowl, then it's like, all right, I don't think you're crazy for saying it. But I think they're together. You saying, oh no, it's not even, it's like, oh, it's Jalen Hurts. That's the only thing I think is crazy. I think he would even go to the Hall of Fame. I agree on that part. That Eagles thing threw me off guard.
Yeah, he's only played 4 years, so I mean,
that's what I'm saying. 4 years compared to the other guys' years, it's just like crazy to me. But
yeah, I'm excited to see what he does. I hope he stays healthy and see what he can do, because if he's been playing 10, 15 years, oh, shoot, if he can do 22 years like Brady, what's his numbers going to be like, But that's the problem with the NFL anymore is it's hard to stay healthy. It's hard to have longevity. I think that's why we look
also
at Tom
a guy that
Brady.
runs the ball a lot, right?
The thing I love about Jalen Hurts, though, is that he's a big quarterback. He's a big boy. He's not no small guy. So with that being said, I feel like the longevity part, he can stay healthy, and he will play on injured if he has to. I mean, unless, it's something that's so bad. But with Jalen Hurts is that he just knows how to game manage sometimes. When that says he knows when he needs to let his players do his thing, let them go, and then just basically not throw any interceptions. And that's what I love about him. And when he does, he'll throw a deep bomb. How many times this season did we see a deep ball to Smitty? And I was off the couch cheering, dude. So many times, and he just dropped it right in the pocket like it was.
We all know that Smitty touchdown in the Super Bowl. So beautiful.
If that was anyone else, if that was Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, that would be posted everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Because
for sure.
It's dropped in the pocket. It's a perfect pass. But since it's Jalen Hurts, since he's the mobile quarterback, since he has the tush-push effect to him, I feel like it kind of taints his legacy at the moment. He gets more hate than he needs.
Do you think he is the best quarterback of last season?
No. Do I think he was the best quarterback? Do you think he was the number 1 quarterback out of all 32 teams? No.
Yep, last season.
I still strongly think that's Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen was the best quarterback, and then very closely behind him was Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
And then Baker Mayfield and then Jalen.
And then Baker Mayfield was in the top 10.
I will say he does get a little shaky when he goes to the Buck Stadium.
That is true. We're kind of right. You have to be honest. We're low key your guys' kryptonite. We can stop the tush push, and Jalen Hurts doesn't know how to throw against us. We're low key your kryptonite.
I strongly agree, and I don't want to throw too many excuses out here. But the year before that, when we lost you guys in the playoffs, I think we beat you guys that year. We beat you guys by a lot. But when we lost you guys in the playoffs, that second half of the year, we were doing bad. Obviously, as a team, we were already down ready. And then last year, when we versed you guys, we were so banged up. We didn't have have freaking Smitty or freaking AJ Brown, man.
Buddy.
So next time Bucks, this is like a miracle. But if we ever lose to the Eagles, I'm gonna be like, we're playing bad. We can just use that excuse now. What?
I'm just saying, before we lost to you guys, we lost to the Giants.
Dude, you can say Packers are just bad because they were playing bad.
Listen, I had to look it up just because you're saying that he Hurts was passing a lot this season, or there's a couple bad games or whatnot.
Joe just be saying anything.
So 2024, besides his first season in Philadelphia, was his fewest pass attempts since he's been there. Dude had only 361 pass attempts because all you're doing is handing the ball off. So put a little asterisk next to Super Bowl champion and put Barkley next to it.
That's what I'm saying.
That's crazy disrespect.
Tell me right
That's
now.
what I'm
Let's-
saying. When
let's
I was
pause and
when
let's
I was
rewind.
looking,
Let's put Saquon Barkley on the Packers right now. Does Jordan Love gonna have a Super Bowl MVP right now?
well, Josh Jacobs,
Probably not.
Josh Jacobs might be.
We still don't have receivers. That's the problem. You guys
Okay.
are trying to say that.
But
Jordan
why does
Love,
it matter if you just need to hand it off 30 times a game? You just said we hand it off 30 times a game. Why do you need wide receivers?
That is true.
You-
All right,
Yeah,
put
that's
Jordan
not
Love on the
yourself.
Eagles. Put Jordan Love on the Eagles in.
Put Jordan Love on the Eagles. Yeah,
Is he winning the Super
they're
Bowl?
very
Who
similar
does
in their
better,
styles.
Jordan Love, or Jalen Hurts on the Eagles? And I'm going to strongly say Jalen Hurts because Jordan Love likes to turn over the ball. Just plain and simple. Jalen Hurts doesn't turn over the ball like Jordan Love.
And
does.
Jordan
will
Love
say-
doesn't know how to tush push.
I will say Eagles did
True, he
dog
doesn't know how to
walk
touch
you
push,
guys
you're right.
in Brazil. Eagles did dog walk you guys in
That was actually a
Brazil.
good game
Yeah.
on Thursday. We watched that game
That
together.
was a very good game. Yeah, that was. So
That's-
I mean, Hurts did have 18 touchdowns this year, so that's good. That's good. So, like I said, all I gotta say is I don't think he can get all the credit for having a great season. I think that does have to go to Barkley.
No, and I do think that Jalen Hurts is a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I do think he will be a Hall of Fame quarterback, but I do think he still needs a decent team around him. I'm not saying he's the Josh Allen. Like, if you swap Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, I think that Josh Allen can very well succeed on the Eagles, and I think that the Bills might be the bottom of the division. if
Dude,
I'm
you
being quite
glazing
honest.
Josh
There's a good
Allen way
chance.
too much. I will
Allen
never
is
glaze.
goated. I had to
Josh
know
Allen
I
was
will-
the best
I will-
quarterback of last season. He's the
I
best
will
quarterback in
never
football
glaze.
right now.
I
What are we
will
talking
never
about?
glaze another quarterback that's not mine.
Like Baker. Okay, I guess. I'm just saying, man. He's that good, dude. He's
No, I
that
admit,
valuable.
bro. Josh Allen's a different breed. I said this last time. You guys remember the play where he just threw it to Amari Cooper, threw it back at Doman? That
Right.
dude is just like, Josh Allen was
Who
a different
throws himself a touchdown? That's what he did. Who throws himself a touchdown? That's all I'm saying.
Josh, he's something else. I mean, he pulled Haley Steinfeld, so that's just a side quest.
Bro
That's
is winning
fire.
on and off the field. Like,
I wish I was Josh Allen. I wish I was Haley Steinfeld. Sorry.
plus, after that Sinners movie, we've all seen the Haley Steinfeld scene. We already know.
I
Josh
still haven't
Allen's
watched
about to
it, by
go.
the way.
Dude, he's going back to
Yeah,
that
man.
MVP.
It's coming to
seen it.
Max.
I think you're the
I've
only
seen
one
it.
that's seen it, Zach. I think you're the only one that's seen it.
But yeah, we
Coming
haven't
to
seen it.
Max.
Oh, don't
Oh, it's
worry.
coming to Max?
I'm gonna put that clip. We're gonna edit this, and we're gonna put that clip of Haley Steinfeld. And you guys are gonna see what I'm talking about, and you guys are all gonna agree that Josh Allen's about to go on an MVP season because that was wild.
I know.
That
I've
was
seen the
wild.
clip. I know what you're talking about. I just
Yeah,
haven't seen
buddy.
the movie.
He
I haven't seen the
pulled
clip, so I don't wanna be ruined.
He pulled Haley and Michael B. Jordan. You think they're triple?
No, what?
All right, I'm done with the segment. By the way, we could move on.